Look at that, man. Look at that. Ronald McDonald House. But wait. What's this? What's this? And the sticker is still on it. Look at them lights, man. Not even blinded. So what are we up to? All up in here. And where did this RS come from? It belongs to Frederick, right? Because Frederick was at my place the other day. We checked out the wheel. He's done like maybe 160 kilometers on it in like a week and a half. So distance check.
12.8 kilometers.
12.8 kilometers. All right. I started at 80% battery. Battery check. 59%. So 12 kilometers, 20%, but that's 80 to 60. How fast was I even going, man? But let me tell you a secret. This is Sweden. It's +1C today, man. But for some reason, feels nice and toasty out, man. Feels nice and toasty. So I'm gonna overlay and I'm gonna ride. These pedals are huge, man. They're huge. And when I got on the MSP, high torque, which was of the early batch, with a really crazy dihedral, still you feel really locked in. And also with Frank pads, because they're high friction. These Russian pads on my ski pants, they're low friction, right? So I'm doing a bit of sliding, I'm not getting the grip that I want. I lowered the PSI from 28 to 24 because I don't want to die. And still, when I'm hitting bumps and sequence, especially in the dark, you know, you risk floating off the pedals because since you're not connected to the side of the wheel with something that is high friction, you are moving up. So you have to really think about it and do a lot of absorbing, right? And this is from me, who weighs 64 kilos, work out like an idiot, and so on. So I guess some people will manage like with different riding style, but it's really something to think about at high speed, man, because if you hit some bumps in sequence, man, and you lose control of the wheel or your feet start to leave the pedals, but the pedals are huge, you got plenty of a platform to stand on, but I mean still. So I would go with some more high friction pad, or maybe some karambits to have like more of a lock-in around the foot area so that our feet aren't leaving the pedals a tiny bit, because that's just dangerous. And for such a fast wheel, you know, you really got to watch it. Really got to watch it, man. And especially if you're riding at high PSI. So I would say that 28 is maybe a bit much for Frederick. I have the speed alarm set to 64 kilometers an hour at full battery. Training ground nearby. crank pads, I would have taken that bump easier on my Nikola. And it's got a smaller diameter tire. And even a higher PSI. You know? Because you're just lifting off. It's dangerous, man. It's dangerous. Frederick, watch out. You got kids. You got kids, man. So what is this wheel about? That's a question. That's a question.
She took my hand, creating imaginary times. I tried to concentrate, I tried to be alive. You took my life, and you shared it with a lie. I really fell into your world, memory cried. How will it ever work out fine? How will it ever work out fine? You tell me that you'd rather be. How will it ever work out? Take your life now, take mine, heavens on tonight. You form a kind one now, you're evil inside. Tear it up.
47.
How will it ever work out fine? How will it ever work out fine? You tell me that you'd rather be. How will it ever
Quik was on my MSX yesterday, or I think the day before. He's like, I think there's something wrong with your bearings. I'm like, yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. But there's definitely nothing wrong with these bearings, man. One smooth wheel. YOLO!
You caught me by surprise, stole my only pride. Get on board, you got
Gravel. Gravel the path. Gravel. This wheel disappears under you. April. Like a huge 9x20 plus. That's fast as hell. This is the version that they haven't fucked up yet. The version that they're gonna fuck up is the one with the high pedals. Personally, I would have let the MSP and the RS coexist, instead of replacing the MSP with the RS. Look at this. A bunch of cars getting their tires rotated. Maybe I should get this one rotated. Yeah, boy. I noticed bicycle crossings, man. Cars have a tendency to just look at pedestrian crossing and then they'll do their little right turns. Ronnie almost got hit by a car the other day because of that. Yeah, so Frederick asked me, is it okay if I drop off the RS, you know, and you give it a proper ride? He's got kids, you know, he's got work, he's got a life in a different way. I don't. My life is different. So, let's see. Yeah. Think so. was here in Tumba Centrum. I was here in Tumba Centrum a little over a week ago with my Nick. Had some all-you-can-eat Chinese food. Chicken and Chinese. We at the Subway. Subway's cheap, Subway's good. So the lights are great, right? Really bright. Pointed a bit more downward compared to the MSP. The pedals, the low pedals on this is great. You know, it's great. I am totally happy. With this pedal configuration, which is great too, because I can steer the wheel foot to foot. Even though lollipop turning is superior, that's just the way it is. Just the way it is, man. But I wouldn't mind feeling more locked in. When in doubt, slow down the road. There we go. Look at that. Look at that. What a gentleman. So we're going left here. That was close. That was like merging into a single lane. I had an incoming car with glaring lights, and you know, I tensed up going down that hill, accelerating, and then I sort of tensed up braking. I was just like, hey, I barely made it. I barely made it. I don't know where the fuck I am, man. That's the problem. I don't know where the fuck I am. So this wheel really feels infinitely fast, man. But on the other hand, I haven't even hit my alarm and the battery's at 50%. And that means my alarm should trigger at 56, so I guess I haven't hit 56. But I sure would like to know where the fuck I am. That would be great. Hey, look at that, a sign. Segersjö and Salem, two places I don't want to go. Fucking great, man. Fucking great. Yeah. Look at you, Mr. Bus. That'll go back to Tumba Station. Really? Really? But Google Maps said go here. I'm gonna go here. It's like go around here, turn up here. Maybe it meant for cars. I think I've been on this fucking road before, the Salami Road. Aha! Aha! Okay. And I'm not going to be stuck in some kind of hell road that just goes on and on and on and on and on. Because I did that once on my neck and I was shitting bricks, man. Look at this fucking blaster, man. Fucking blaster. The snow. Pedals are so damn big, man. I have small feet, so I got like, I don't have the same reference point, but hey. Luxury problem. Luxury problem, man. You learn. Everybody else wants bigger pedals. I want pedals that fit my feet, like my shoes, you know. But it's all good. Let's see this. Let's go here. And as for the rest of the wheel, you know, it's a standard CST 1488. No shocks or surprises there. I'll go rip across this. Into the car as we go. I think I should have gone down there. I should have gone down there. Oh, there's a body of water as well. That's a sexy looking bike path down there. Is it like a killer crossing, man? Yeah, killer crossing. There are better ways to die. Now here, going down this hill, it just feels like I'm sliding. But that's usually what a new 1488 will feel like. Until it starts to get worn out and misbehaves like hell. Back on the bike path. Back on the bike path. Down there. Alright, so after Tumba, apparently I just did like a stupid turn. Ended up doing a huge circle, and now I'm going back to Tumba. Which is fine, because the other way would have been past IKEA. Maybe I can go bounce this on the trampoline. Because the other thing about this wheel, 27.5 kilos, you know, creeping up. MSX 23.5, MSB 25, and now 27.5 for a big ass hollow motor, man. Going right back to my hoods and see what else I can do. We outie. It could be worse. It could be snowing. So, what does my backpack say about the mudguard? Holy shit, man. Holy shit. Oh, hey. Good for you, mudguard. Good for you. And what does the lower part of my jacket have to say about the mudguard? I'm going to squirt all over you, man. That's what it's going to say. So the power switch here, they made a little swimming pool. So if any water gets trapped in here now, it can't leave. And also, how are you doing over there, Mr. Lead? How are you doing? You doing okay? Why you have to be so fucking mad? Look at that, man. That lead is fucking nuts. Look at this. So now it's on the flashing mode, and this one is just like, good night, I'm done. So we'll see how that goes once it dries, right? But man, this is Sweden, man. This is Sweden. We can't choose whether we are or not going to ride in the wet. Fuck down. This one died. I think it was cold. Man. So first things first, gotta import that footage. Import it into GoPro Quik. Import files. So, how do we feel about that? A guy in the comments rides a Kingsong 14S. It's a 840 watt-hour 14-inch wheel that can do 30 kilometers an hour. That's a good time. That's a fun time. And now he's wondering if he should get the V11 or the RS. There were times when I was riding where I felt like I was gonna fly off the pedals. That can be resolved with karambits, that can be resolved with pads, right? That aren't these. These were a bit slick for me. But I have to remember that back in the day, I did not ride with pads. I was one of these purist riders, right? As we are all elitist snobs in our own ways. And now I got a faster wheel, and then I put some pads on it, and then it felt safer to me. And I can really feel, you know, when you're doing 50 kilometers an hour and your feet are doing something there, you know, and you risk falling off the front, falling off the wheel. That's dangerous. But dihedral helps. There isn't an insane dihedral. It's a pleasant dihedral. The RS has a pleasant dihedral. The newer batch of Nicolas have a bit more of an aggressive dihedral. They have around the same pedal height, which makes for a nice carving and shifting style of riding. But it's just a different style of riding. It's just a different feel of riding. And if we talk about the V11, well, you know, would the LEDs do that? Would the LEDs do that? You know, and pop on one side, but it'll do something else, you know. There's one guy that got a pinched cable in his V11. These are like early batch wheels still. But they are both a pleasure to ride. The RS is a pleasure to ride. The V11 is a pleasure to ride. This is the RSHS, so this is the high speed one. I wasn't riding at high speed, you know, because it's dark and it's not my wheel, and I'm not secure enough with a config of it. I was riding in the hard mode because we had a problem with the soft and medium mode with successive dipping, but this felt stable on the hard mode. On the hard mode, it's not pure hard like the old MSX hard mode. That is just like entirely solid with very little give. But it's a very pleasant feeling wheel. The RS is a very nice and pleasant feeling wheel. If I were to choose between an RS and the V11 right now, today, I would probably be tempted to go with the V11, because I'm not going to say that the battery here knocked my socks off. I went from 80% battery down to 24 while stopped and recovered, and then it went to 23. But otherwise it was down to 30% while riding, you know. And for 46 kilometers, and you use, you know, almost 70% battery unit, it's the normal. You can expect that every kilometer will cost you 1.5% battery units, or I just count this as a 70 kilometer wheel, and I counted my Nick with extra battery as a 103 or a 105 kilometer wheel. And you know, I would have, if I was riding my Nick, I would have been going a bit faster, and I would have been going just as fast on the way back. And you know, battery is battery, is all. Battery is battery. So for me to say if it uses more battery, you know, then I'd have to get on the MSP and go and do the same ride. Am I tempted? Yeah, I'm tempted, but it really doesn't matter, because battery is battery, and the wheels are different enough for them to be different enough for there to be some kind of difference in battery. But in the end, you know, you have 2 battery packs, you have 2 donuts, and then you're just gonna eat them, and that's all that's gonna happen. If you want more battery, then you want more donuts, and then you want 3 donuts, you know. That's all it is. You can't affect that. I guess the V11, you'll be riding it a bit slower. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe you wouldn't have to slow down as much on some parts. So let's see what kind of nonsense footage I got today. It's going to be interesting to see the overlay, right? It's going to be interesting to see at what point the LED failed also. And a thing about average riding, I mean, if it says that my average riding speed was 25 kilometers an hour, then I could basically just be doing 25 kilometers an hour for 45 kilometers or for 50 kilometers. But you would use a lot less battery doing that. If you do 50 kilometers an hour and you stop so that you're doing 0 kilometers an hour, then your average will still be 25 kilometers an hour. If you do 50 kilometers an hour for 10 minutes and you do 0 kilometers an hour for 10 minutes, then your average is 25 kilometers an hour. But if you do 25 kilometers an hour for 10 minutes, then your average is also 25 kilometers an hour. The difference is that 50 kilometers an hour is going to use a hell of a lot more battery. A hell of a lot. It's going to use like maybe 3 times more battery than the 25 kilometers an hour. And of course the 0 is going to use 0, right? But you will never be able to compensate. You will never be able to compensate for high speed riding by doing low speed riding and then fixing the average that way, because the increase in battery usage at high speed just becomes exponential, you know. So if you're going 10 kilometers an hour faster, you're going to use twice as much power, and then you're going to go 10 kilometers an hour faster and you're going to use twice as much power. And when you're reaching 50 kilometers an hour, you know, it's just like the wind resistance is insane, and it's going to slow you down, and you're going to push through it, and the battery is going to take the hit now. So yeah, it's a very nice wheel, very nice feeling wheel. It will be interesting to try the high torque. Sergey has the high torque. I was on the high torque the other day when I visited him. And I can't say that I notice a difference, but you would have to ride side to side, and just like I would have to get on the MSP now and see when I'm on the MSP, does it have that transparent flow to it, because the RS has a nice transparent flow to it, which means that when you're standing on the wheel and you're riding, you can't really feel the motor, and that's very nice. That's something that I liked a lot from the 9-bot 1E Plus. And then as wheels get bigger magnets, they get like a sort of a cogging effect here. 40, 43, 44, GPS lags. Yeah. Just remember one thing, you know. We buy these wheels to have fun. So you have to remember to have fun, you know. And if you think straight line riding while holding on to your life is fun, then you think that's fun. And if you think like riding a bit slower and carving and flowing is fun, then that's fun too. Frederick has hit 75 kilometers an hour on that wheel, you know. And it was on my way back, you know, even at 13% battery, I didn't get any battery beeps. So that's the magic of the 100-volt wheels, man. At 13% battery, it's still an 84V. Look at you. Look at you rendering. And big uns. Big uns. Big uns, kebab and grill. Garlic. Primary ingredient is mayonnaise. Look at that. And only 36 grams of fat per 100 grams. That's a lot less than normal mayo. And you know what that means? That means you can use 3 times as much. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But is there any food?